I will start by telling you what we're going to cover this evening. So bear with me a second. Okay, so I'm going to quickly go over some key dates for our year group for year 10 that are coming up throughout this half term, which actually there's not much to be aware of other than the big things of work experience. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Chorlton High School scholar habits. And I know that you have had communication about this before, and it was in the autumn session as well. Miss Baxter is going to go through some of our key drives around code of conduct. Obviously, that is what Miss Baxter is working with the students on day in, day out, to making sure we get the best out of your young people whilst they're with us. I know that a lot of you will be aware that progress tests are coming up starting next week, and that's quite high on the agenda for us as a year group. So I want to share a little bit of progress test information with you as well. And we have a new student intranet, which I'm going to share. Finally, towards the end of the meeting, Ms. Sarwar will share some of her findings around the impact of parental involvement and also some key messages around work experience. So let's get started. Firstly, as I mentioned, for all young people in year 7 to 10, progress test starts Monday the 15th of January, runs to Friday the 26th. So for the next 2 school weeks, students will be involved in progress tests. All year 10 students are aware of that timetable and they have that as their own copy. The only dates that are consistent are English, maths and science, that when they have their options, obviously will depend on your student specific timetable. So they will sit their history exam on the day that they have history. So it's not the same for all students. It depends what history class they're in. The second, obviously, key date for us to be aware of is the year 10 work experience, which is Monday the 12th till Friday the 16th of February. A huge amount of work has gone on between Miss Baxter, our admin team in school, and yourselves and the young people in terms of securing those placements. We still see work experience as being really valid and really vital in terms of the development it offers our students.
I'd just like to say thank you to all the parents and carers. I understand that the turnaround was short, but a lot of you have managed to do that. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has managed to secure a place for our students in a workplace. I reckon I got over 150 places. I have to say thank you to you all, because 150 students found their own work placement. I want to say a huge thank you to you all, parents and carers. You bombarded friends, families, and whoever you needed to do it to. You secured 150 places for the year group. So thank you very much. It really was a big help for me. So thank you again.
Fab. And the final date that I just wanted to make you aware of, it's not a major one, but on Tuesday the 13th, so whilst year 10 are away on their work placements, the short reports will be shared home, and that is when you will find out the progress test results. So I know a lot of students and parents are, interested in making sure they get that bit of feedback. So that will be Tuesday the 13th of Feb. Okay, moving on. Now, I'm not going to spend too long on scholar habits because, like I said, I know that this was in your autumn presentation. In the autumn term, we were really driving the scholar habits of organise in terms of how students look after their exercise books and also how they pay attention in lessons. As you know, since year 7, Miss Baxter has really been pushing students in her year group to make sure they take their exercise books home and then they bring them back again to really extend that learning into your home and then back to school. So obviously, if you could just remind your child to make sure each night that when that they are organised, they've got the right books that they need and that they're getting them out at home to look over their learning for that day, that would be great as a little reminder. Obviously, they just need to make sure they've got the right equipment. They need to keep their books well organised as well. As you know, in Key Stage 4, all of the learning that takes place in year 10 and year 11 will be examined in the GCSEs. So students should not throw any books out. All of the learning they do this year, they need to put that book to one side on a bookshelf, on their desk, wherever it might be, on your dining table at home, somewhere safe, to make sure they can keep going back to it. The other habit that you may well have been presented before is how they should be paying attention in class. As a staff body, and now with the students, we've done so much work on memory and really thinking about the kind of the science of learning and how students need to embed things and embed knowledge in their long-term memory and really pay attention. So we've really explicitly outlined with students that when they are in the class, that they need to sit up straight, they track the teacher or whoever's speaking at that time, they ask and answer questions, and they respect each other, just to make sure that everyone is really engaged in our lessons, so we can make sure that they're retaining the knowledge that we're teaching them. What we've really been driving with students towards the kind of later half of the autumn term is home study habits. Miss Baxter has been relentlessly going round your children's classrooms, asking them, have you done your homework? Have you done your revision? Have you done your home study? Have you done your Sparks? And having those constant conversations. Now, we are aware that we don't want to overwhelm students, so we've broken that down as a scholar habit for them. The way this breaks down, you can see on screen, we start with H for have a plan. So when we're asking students to start their progress test preparation, we ask them to plan what they're going to do, and their form tutors have supported them with constructing those study timetables. So we've given them the information of this is what will be on your progress test for English, for science, and so on, given them different strategies to trial, and then said, okay, well, how's that going to look for you? What are you actually going to do each evening? And supported students with that. We've talked with them about the importance of organising the resources. So if they have a space they can sit down at home, whether it's in their bedroom or it might be in the dining room or wherever it is, wherever the place at home is, that they need to have everything there. They have their stack of books, they have a highlighter, they have their pen, whatever they might need. Some might use a laptop, or they might have their phone if they need to refer to different revision websites whilst they're revising. We've then spoke to students about maximising study habits. Lots of students in year 10 started the year saying, I'm not too sure how to revise. And that is completely normal. We expect students to not have quite fully refined their revision techniques at this point. So we've been really explicitly teaching those techniques, both in class and in form time, and driving them with students. Things like creating revision cards. And just this week, Miss Baxter told me that so many of the young people have shown her a set of revision cards that they've created over Christmas, which is lovely and something we really want to continue to encourage, because we know that is a really successful strategy. And finally, and this is kind of where you might come into support as well, we ask students to keep evaluating their progress by self-testing, and you might support them with this at home and say, okay, well, will I look at the list of what you need to know for English? Where are we up to with that? Are you confident with this aspect? Are you confident with these key terms? And do a little bit of self-testing. It might be 5 minutes before dinner. It might be on a car journey, wherever you can, just to make those times a little and often to keep coming back to the knowledge for students. I'm going to hand over to Miss Baxter, who's just going to talk through some code of conduct messages.
As you're aware, and as Charlton High, we follow a code of conduct because it's be ready, be respectful, and be safe. And the reason why we do this, because we want the students to understand how we want them to behave in a manner that is conducive to themselves and to go out into the big world. And I must admit, they have been actually doing that. They're getting to know each other in the year group. And I know that sounds a bit off the scale a little bit, but you'd be amazed how many people are in the year group and they don't know who's in the year group. So it is about them getting to know each other and being ready. Be ready in the morning, because every morning for the last 3 years, if you ask your children, I go into their forms every morning to make sure they are well equipped. So that's a reading book, pencil case, also making sure that the uniform is really good. And I must admit, we are doing really good. We've maintained it. We've wobbled a little bit because, of course, the students want to wear their own stuff, but we're keeping it Charlton High logo all the way. Be respectful, being respectful in general to each other. Different cultures, as you're aware, we're a multicultural school, so it's about embracing each other and the cultures. You know, agree to disagree, but let's not argue about it. The year group as a whole, you all know, those that I've spoken to over the last 3 years, I love my students. I love them because I'm big mother hen to them in that respect. And I want to make sure that when they leave Cheltenham High, we've equipped them with all the needs that they want. And to be safe, we do our best as a school, as much as we do our best as parents, because we're both parents as well. We want our children to be safe on the internet. We want them to be safe in all what they do. But, you know, students will be students. They push the boundaries. That's how they learn. And, you know, I'm here to help them along the way. What they're not, you know, what they're not comfortable at home in talking about, we play that part and make sure that that question gets answered rather than them not asking that question at all, because you'd be amazed how many times somebody says, I don't want to say something because I'm going to ask a silly question. Somebody else, maybe 9, 10 people are thinking the same thing. So we encourage that for their safety and also their mental well-being as well. So my students in year 10, they follow that very, very well. And that's down to yourselves as well. The support that you give us and the support that we give yourselves, we've got them at like 2 bookends, as I like to describe them. We've got them. So I'm very proud of my year group, very, very proud. And as for the uniform, again, I check that every day, have done since the, year 7 to year 10, and I'll continue to make sure the uniform is correct. The students know the need to have the correct uniform on because it's be ready, be safe environment that we're in. As you're aware, a lot of them don't need to wear the blazers. It's either a jumper or a blazer. And I must admit, the year group as a whole, they've maintained that. Can't really complain. The odd little designer outfit will come in, but they will try. And if I'm not in school for the whole week, which I have been off, they do try it, but they know the difference between right and wrong. And I'm very, very pleased at that. So, and you should be proud of them as well. Attendance and punctuality, very, very important. Cannot stress this enough. In all the years that I've been here, I have seen students with top grades, bad attendance, not get into the colleges of their choices. I am please begging all parents and carers, it's imperative that we get this right, because I want my students to access the places of the colleges of their choice. There are thousands of students going for these places, and I would like to outdo all the other schools to make sure my students are the cream of the crop. It's important that the students get to school on time. If you're taking your child out for any reason, please send an email to myself, the attendants, to explain this, so at least we can, we've got a record. If it's a medical holiday, we've got a record and we can use that to our own advantage to the colleges. So it really is important that this, you know, all students attend school on time every day, punctual to lessons, because even that late to a lesson, they've missed 5 minutes at the start of the lesson. That means, you know, they're stopping their education. The teacher then has to explain again. So, you know, I would like you all to encourage, you know, them to get to school on time, get to lessons on time, and whatever they need, we're here to support that on all levels, no matter what. So as you're aware, you know, school starts at 8:30, but we do free breakfasts because a lot of parents have to leave out before their child leaves out of school. So we do the free breakfast. Yeah, everything is here for them. But I just want to encourage, now attendance is now prevalent more than it ever is. When we're writing them references, of course you want a glowing reference for your child. We want to write that glowing reference. So please encourage your child to be in school on time, to get homework done, and to just ask for help when needed. Please, you know, their well-being is very, very important to me, very, very important to yourselves. So let's just get behind them. We're coming to the final furlong. We're almost there, but we still need a big oomph to get them there. All right.
Thank you, Miss. Okay, back to me. I'm just going to talk in a little bit more depth about the upcoming progress tests. So as you know, this is the first progress tests of Key Stage 4. So when they start year 10, we say they're kind of entering the Key Stage 4 journey, and this is the journey towards GCSEs. So when we're thinking about these next 2 weeks, we've been really careful with the messaging that's gone to your children. So we started this back in autumn too, and we're really mindful of not wanting to overwhelm students, not wanting students to become anxious around these progress tests. They are not going to be in the exam hall, they're going to be in classrooms. The summer progress test for year 10, which is their next opportunity, will be in the exam hall. So this is kind of a little practice run to get those procedures right. So I've mentioned the home study walkthrough. So when we're thinking about these progress tests, as I've said, this is assessing all of Learning Cycle 1. Learning Cycle 1 for our students started back in September, and it's kind of gone into January. So students might need to be looking at multiple books, and they certainly need to use their revision list that they've been provided with. If anyone is unsure of where to find this information, it is on our school website. So you could go this evening now onto the school website. Under the Student Life tab, you can see there's a section called Progress Tests. Once you click into Progress Tests, you will see all of this information is there, and you can then have that real clear information of, okay, for year 10, my child does English, Math, Science, and then they'll do 4 option subjects. So you can look at exactly what is needed for each of their specific lessons. The language we've been using with students is the same as that I've just outlined with you. So we've spoken to them, this was weeks back in assembly, to make sure that this didn't end up being a rush. So hopefully they've made a little bit of headway. If they haven't, they've still got time. So I don't want any student to think, oh, I don't want to revise because I don't know how to revise. Any of the Key Stage 4 team, any of us will help students and sit down with them and show them what they need to do. The most important part is having that plan, and not to be too overambitious with the plan. Sometimes students are saying, I'm going to do 5 hours every night, every single day. They're not going to stick to it, and that's straight away going to demotivate them. So we're realistic with students, making sure they have some time away from their studies to keep that healthy mindset. And we've spoken already about organising the resources and asking the teachers if they need past papers, if they need knowledge organisers, if they need revision cards, they can go to their subject teachers or any of us in the team. We were more than happy to help them. So if that's what they need to do this week to then prepare over the weekend, that's number 1 on the agenda. We've spoken to them about different study habits, as I've mentioned, things like revision cards, online resources, the mind maps, and they've had the opportunity to practice those in form time as well as in their subject specific lessons. And I mentioned about your expertise in terms of just keep checking in with your student. Are you ready? Looking back to things like the revision list and saying, can you explain this? Do you know this key term? Okay, the next thing I'm going to show to you is something new that we've been working on throughout the autumn term, and this is the student intranet. I'm just going to change the way that I'm sharing my screen, so bear with me for a moment because I want to do a little bit of a live walkthrough of this for you. Your students have all been shown this very briefly, but are going to be shown it in assembly tomorrow, and I think moving forwards it will be a really useful resource. So one moment. Okay, so you can now see my screen. This site has been set up for all students. They have been shown how to access this. So from Microsoft Teams, there's a little tab at the top which says CHS Home Study Site. And this is going to become our kind of one-stop shop where we save everything related to home study for students. It starts with the home study walkthrough, which I've already outlined, and there is a video. I'm not going to play it now live in case there's some glitches on it, but that is on the website and on the internet for you to watch in your own time if you want to. The next thing we've got linked to on there is all of the home learning platforms. And I know as a parent, this can be quite overwhelming when you're trying to keep track of your child's homework and they've got maths on Sparks, science on Educake, history on GCSE Pod, and you're thinking this is too much to keep on top of. There's links to all of those home learning platforms here in this one place. The other thing that we're up against as members of staff is students, like all of us, forget login details, and especially when they've got 4 or 5 different platforms login details. What we are working on, hopefully within the next 3 to 4 weeks, is single sign-on. So once they've signed into Microsoft Teams, which is really easy for us to monitor their password and reset their password, they won't need to sign in again. So they would then be able to click on any of these icons and it would take them straight to that platform with no need to sign on. Like I say, we're just about 3 weeks away from that. So once they come back from work experience, that should be ironed out. It's some complex IT going on behind the scenes that I don't understand. Secondly, the home learning plans. So these resources, if your child has lost their paper copies, you can access all of these on this student intranet as well as on our school website. So you can see there we've got the progress test information, and that's the document I mentioned where it says for English, this is what year 10 need to know. For math, this is what year 10 need to know, and so on. You've got a copy of the study planner. This part I really wanted to share with you, knowledge organisers. For us as members of staff, this has been a huge drive over the past year or so. These knowledge organisers kind of compile all of the knowledge from a unit in one place. So if I click into that tab, sorry, I've just opened that picture. If I click into that tab, I can then see my year groups. If I click year 10, you can see I've got a folder for every single subject. And if I choose an example subject like English, I've then got every knowledge organizer that year 10 would need in their English lessons. So for you as a parent, if a student says to you, I don't have any homework, you can say, okay, well, let's do some revision. Let's get the knowledge organizer out for Jekyll and Hyde, and I can test you on aspects of that, or you can test yourself on aspects of that, or you can spend a little bit of time with the knowledge organizer and then see if they can recreate it on a blank page. And we will obviously be sharing this with your students in school as well. The last thing I wanted to share with you on that site, and I know this is a lot of information to take in, so feel free to explore this at your leisure, is at the bottom, we've got the home study and revision strategies. So if I click that for year 10, you can see that there are some tips. Now, it's really common, and we see this all the time, of students say, I don't know how to revise. So this is where we've saved those hints and tips for home study. And there's also, if I just scroll down a little bit further, some really useful videos to show them, firstly, how to make a revision timetable, how to construct mind maps, and then how to use mind maps along with something like GCSE Pod. So students could watch a teacher walkthrough of how to do that skill and how to do it really well before they attempt to do so themselves. So I hope that you'll be able to access this site. It will be through your child's Microsoft Teams, obviously, not through your own account. And it's called the CHS Home Study site, and it's through a tab on their year team. Students have assembly in year 10 first thing tomorrow morning, and they're going to have this walkthrough that I've just given to you, but in a little bit more depth. So your child should be able to explain it to you then as well. Bear with me, because I'm just going to get my presentation back up. Okay, this is where I was up to. For those questions in the chat, I might not have the chance to answer them live, but I will certainly get back to you on those. But as mentioned at the start, if you do have any pressing concerns, feel free to drop me an email. My email address was on the first slide, or give school a call tomorrow. That's no problem. So in terms of the intranet, I've obviously gone through, and I think at the moment, the most useful thing for you to have access there that we're kind of offering that we haven't offered before is those knowledge organisers. Those are such an important resource that, like I say, if your child says, not sure what to revise, or I've got no homework, you can direct them to that folder and say, okay, let's choose a subject, let's choose a topic, here you go. And they're really comprehensive kind of study resources of everything they need to know about a topic, that they can easily do basic things like cover them up and check what they know, create a revision card, any little skills like that. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Miss Sarwar at this point, who's going to run the rest of the presentation, around parental involvement and work experience. But thank you so much for your engagement. I've really appreciated that. Just give us a moment while we switch over.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, good evening. Right, okay, so I think Ms. Yurov already covered a little bit of, how the parents should be involved with this revision process. I've been doing this job for a good 25 years, and I've been a head of upper skill for a good few years, and the year 11s are really feeling lonely. This is a quite lonely place, when they're revising, it's quite lonely. So I just wanted to start with you guys earlier. Can you please make sure that you're involved with the revision process? Okay, this is crucial, whether you know the topic, whether you don't know the topic, whether they are completely shutting you off and just say don't involve, I know what I'm doing. But you need to be involved in this process. So they are revising and you're part of it, and they are sharing with you what they're going through. So if you look at this slide, research shows that the parents make 80% difference. Okay, so school make 20%. So you are the most part of this whole process. Okay, progress tests. I know what Ms. Yurov said that we've been running for since the mid-December, and the students know what to do. Students know how to make the revision cards, mind maps, and all these little techniques we've been using and showing them. But you are the crucial part, and make sure when they're doing it, you're part of it, and it's a process of you to learn as well. Right. The other thing is attendance really counts. I know what the kind of the weather is going on right now. I'm under the weather myself, but it is important that if the child is feeling a little bit better and you think can cope with even with a half a day, please do send them, because what we're teaching them right now, they will be tested on that as well. And also, what difference you can make is don't talk about the grades. Okay, talk about the focus, because this is what they need to develop, how they are preparing themselves for the progress test. And it starts from the classroom. Okay, paying attention, and then when they go home, revisiting, revising. So focus on that. Make sure that they don't lose their focus. They have got a good plan in place. Appropriate learning environment. Okay, make sure there's no noises, their room is nice and tidy, or their desk is nice and tidy. They got knowledge organizers on their table. They have got the curriculum information on their table, what they're supposed to revise. They have got the resources for making revision cards or mind maps or anything, the right stationery. So when they go home, when they're in their room, they feel motivated. Okay, I'm not saying you need to do all that. You just can be part of it, so they can feel that, yeah, they notice or they've been looked after. How to plan study, this is crucial. And I'm not saying this is an easy bit. The planning is crucial. Okay, they will be making lots of revision timetable for you, but they will be keep evolving as well, and they might all stick to it. They keep changing and all that, but make sure by the time they come home, there is a kind of the study plan, and you know that what your child will be revising and what subject will be they'll be revising or revisiting or doing homework for. The plan is really, really important. We're still doing with the 11s. We just had one full session with the 11s today, how to plan. And we've been doing that since past 5 years, but keep revisiting, be consistent. Okay, there won't be there won't be 100% superb revision plan. Okay, but if they keep involving it, if they keep showing it to you and you're talking about it, then they will feel like more motivated, and then what they will be revising when they come home. Time management is crucial. Keep an eye on that they're not spending too long on one subject, 30 minutes on each subject. Okay, this is how they should be revising. Four subjects each day they should be touching, revising, revisiting, or testing. Positive talk. Okay, I always say, and I've been using this for many years being a science teacher,
Be positive like a protons, okay? They will feel negative. They will feel that they're mute, but be positive with them and keep encouraging them. Positive mindset and healthy food and drinks. Please make sure that they have the food or drink on time and they're eating healthy stuff. Okay, so these are the positive talks you can do. Listen to them when they feel low and put them back on track. Remind them of what makes them special. Remind them often of times of when they're successful, you know, and the failure means success. Okay, this is just the process we're going through with this whole process. And if there's a self-doubt about the difficult subject, think about the focus on the journey. Not everyone can be good in maths, not everyone can be good in physics, but it's the journey and they're part of the journey. Okay? And the brain remember the context rather than the content. Okay, we know this. The little, you know, the brain always remember the content, not the context. Everyone learns best in different ways, so make sure there are different ways of learning. They're not doing the same thing all the time. They don't have revision guide all the time in front of them. Make sure that they got other different, you know, the ways of learning as well, and how they remember. That's the main thing. Everyone remembers, but by the time they finish learning, do they remember? Okay, and we've been talking about a lot recently about the memory tricks. And there's a different ways of learning. Mnemonics is one, revision cards, learning with pictures, teaching someone else, applying learning, that means testing, exam papers, exam questions, and mind maps and the colors, shapes, or any kind of imagination. Make sure that they're proud of the strategies they're using, and there is an evidence of their strategies, and there's a good way is that they can remember what they're doing. Okay, and so we will be working more on memory this week and next week as well, and we're going to go through about the intranet tomorrow where they can find all the information. But the only way they can improve their memory is basically do something with the information, okay? They rewrite again, retest, okay? Review the work regularly, review it in many ways as possible, encourage them to talk about what they have done or teach them, be consistent, and this is what we really want to improve on. Okay, so tomorrow, work experience, we're having our futures coming back again, and they're going to do the big assembly on work experience, what to do next. And then after that, we're going to talk about the intranet. So it's a quite important assembly tomorrow. But what I need to talk about is, we all know it's a fantastic opportunity, okay, and not to be missed. All of you should have the places, okay, and it looks good on CV, it looks good on application form. By this time next year, your child will secure the place in good colleges, and of course they will go through with the application process. They would have done the CV, and it also huge help with all the interviews, something to talk about, okay, and something new, you know, so what they can do in a working environment and how the real businesses can operate, and learn about what kind of people they will be working with, different people, you know, and I'm telling you, by the time they will come back after 1 week experience, you will see the difference. You should all have the, you know, the username and the password for how to log on to the Our Futures, and you can see the job description or anything, any information about your child will be there. Okay, but before the placement, please, 2 weeks before the placement or the 3 weeks before the placement, it's important that you know how to get there. You need to plan the transport, how to get there, the best way, who will be dropping them off, what buses they will be taking, okay? And then also you can talk to them about the first impression is last impression. They need to look smart when they go there, or also they can talk you when you're on the phone with them, talk about the dress code. Okay, while on the placement, okay, make sure that your child knows about the hazards, about the risk assessments. Some employers do, some employers don't, but that's the first thing that they need to talk about, the risk assessment, that your child is safe and secure. That's why we have the liability insurance, that we ask for the liability insurance. And while on the placement, everything is confidential. They can't come home and discuss with you, and you can encourage them to talk about the experiences. But if there is anything they're beginning to disclose with you, please make sure that you don't, because that is part of the confidentiality. While on the placement, they need to understand the business policy regarding mobile phone, because the last year we had some issues when the students were they had the mobile phone in their pocket, they were switched on, and the mobile phones, some of students, they took the picture by mistake or whatever happened, and the mobile phone policy is crucial that you know what's the policy with the mobile phone. In my eyes, leave the mobile phones in your bags, and leave the bags wherever the staff room is, wherever they, the rest of them leave their stuff. Please do not ring them while they're on placement. After when they finish work, then they can ring you. Do not take any photos while you're working. You need to ask for the permission, but the majority of the time they say no. Do not post anything online without first asking permission. But my advice is do not post anything online about your placement. Okay, and think carefully before following or friendly staff members. They can do, they can then do the same to access your details. So not to get too friendly straight away. First, you need to get to know the member of staff, and then you pass your information to them. Don't provide information if you don't feel uncomfortable. Any problems, you can basically you can ring us for clarification. Okay, and contact someone in school if you're not sure. Also, if the child is going to be ill, you need to let the placement know. You also need to let the school know, so we know that your child is not at your placement. Okay. So what's now? If you really think about it, we have got the 4 weeks left. And what I suggest is just the 3 weeks before or 2 weeks before the work experience starts, give them a call. Okay, we had the experience last year, and every year we have either the placement is shut down and there is no one there and you can't find the manager. And when you turn up for your work experience, they wasn't expecting you. That does happen. This is world of work. This is how sometimes some businesses run. So please make sure that you give them a call, introduce yourself, and just tell them you're coming for the work experience. Tell them your name, and also tell them who they are talking. You can ask them who they're speaking to. Be professional and enthusiastic, please. I know there are some days when they don't feel enthusiastic, but that's the message for me. They need to show enthusiasm and motivation and all that. Remember, they're having an experience, and the experience is valuable. Okay, always remember who they are representing. So these are the messages they will be getting tomorrow during assembly, and I'm just sharing with you. Okay, right. Okay, the other thing is your work experience diary. This is crucial. So work experience diary, students will receive the last week before they go. So that's the week before. They will be bringing this diary with you. And on that diary, there will be some kind of the introduction, and there will be some pages that will explain why this diary is important and how they should make the most of the work experience. Okay, and why your child is going for the work experience, because they are learning and they're gaining the employability skills. Okay, and the kind of the employability skills are there, and we will go through in detail at form time how they can improve their employability skills, how they can make the most of the work experience. Okay, then they're going to basically, before the work experience, they're going to track their skills they're not very good at, and when they get there, what skills they have to improve. There's a plan of action there as well. If in the plan of actions page, there's information about the employer, the name, or the phone numbers, who they can contact, and all that. You're going to go through with this booklet, with this diary with them. Okay, planning your travel, that is the page where they can just basically plan how they're going to get there, how much it's going to cost them. And then there's a health and safety information. When they get there, they should have their health and safety information from the employer, and there are pages for the students to fill in. So all these pages going to get filled before they start their actual work experience. So they're going to start the work experience. The first day, they're going to basically need to complete. So there's 5 pages altogether, 5 days, where they're going to write the information about the date, the time arrived, the kind of the task they have done, and the skills they have gained. This whole page, the 5 pages, needs to be completed. Okay, then because the booklets, the diary is going to come back to us. We're going to look at the diaries. If the diaries are completed thoroughly, 100%, then we will give them work experience certificate. Right then, when they finish, they're going to give this part, for the work experience. Parent and basically and carer can comment on the work experience, what they think. The school's comments will go there from us. But most of all, this is crucial. This is employer's report. And the employer is going to make them fail or pass. They write about attendance, punctuality, anything they have, that this is crucial page, okay? And then there will be a signature. Sometimes the students don't complete, they do the diary and then they don't give that diary to the employer. Either they forgot or the employer don't have a time. But on the first day when your child goes to the placement, they show them that this is the bit they will be completing, okay? Because that will help us to to identify whether the work experience gone successful, pass, or they didn't go ahead well. Okay. Okay, so that's the diary. So I will give them the week before and make sure they don't, they lose it. What I will do, I will also upload the diary on Teams. So just in case if your child lose their diary, you can print it out. Okay, there will be enough copies for all of them. I will have some extras just in case. Please don't lose this diary. Diary is crucial. Okay, and same time, we basically each form every Thursday and Friday, we focus on the careers, we focus on the employability skills, we focus on the study skills. And you can see the career focus this year. For the rest of the term, we are basically on Spring 1. And we're completing the work experience, and we would work on the employability skills and career sessions. Okay, so make sure that they are ready for next year. Okay, and same time, idea awards. We will. I'm sorry, the light just turned off itself. So idea award is something that for their leadership skills, something extra they can gain, and we will link the work experience, also link the work experience with the idea, so they make sure that they are ready before they go to the work experience. So there's a lot going on with the year 10s this year, so make sure that they are ready for next year when they are in year 11. Okay, so don't hesitate to ask any questions. We got some. Do they need books from year 9? No, only year 10 stuff at the moment. Okay, if you look at the knowledge organizer, and if you look at the excuse me, if you look at the curriculum information, the students been provided what they need to revise. There will be won't be much stuff from year 9. As a science point of view, means that they will be tested on different, whatever paper they will be doing. So whatever they have done this year, we have started Key Stage 4 GCSEs at the end of year 9 last year, so there will be a bit of information from there, but they have to talk to the subject teachers. Okay, can we sign into the home study site? Yeah, parents can't. But you can go through the students' students' teams information, or their signing, whatever the information is, and then you can basically go and have a look at what's in there. There's a lot of information. That home study site is never been better. It's one of the best so far. So please get used to it, get familiarized yourself, and be ahead in the game. Once you are on that side and you know what's in there, you will be ahead in the game, and you will know what your child is doing, what they're learning from now on till the next exams. Okay, right. Okay, is the presentation frozen? It's not frozen, but it's also recorded. So what you can do is you can have an access of this presentation. We're going to upload this on a website. Self-development idea. Self-development idea, if you look at there, is here. So what we did in Autumn 1, Future Success, data and money management. So they have done lots of courses, online courses with them about the data management and money management, so kind of the skill they have learned. And then they have been basically gaining badges or certificates. But right at the end of the year, we will have the full bigger picture, whether who has achieved the bronze, silver, or gold. Okay, the end of year they will get the badges, or they will get the certificates, or whatever they are capable of. That will be the end of the year. So where we are up to now is on work experience. Autumn 2 was career and pathways, digital careers and pathways. And then Spring 2 is all about home learning for success, digital safety and ethics. And log on is a really good one, really, really good one, because I've been using this for my year 11s other day, and it was a very good one about the growth mindset. And it was and I asked them, okay, you know, this is what they're doing, and it was a very nice one. Where they learn about growth mindset and fixed mindset when they're doing the role play, and then they're writing a little report. Really, really good. You will see the people they have been doing idea awards this year, they will make the most of their work experience. They will make the most of their future choices. But keep an eye on them and just say, okay, where are you up to? How many points you have gained? And I know they can easily do at home as well, and you can be part of it. This is kind of the thing that everyone can learn, and it's a big investment as well. And then the last one, Summer 2, personal statements portfolios. So they will be start writing their personal statements at the beginning of September, but they will have how to write the personal statement in Summer 2 and organizing their portfolio, so they are ready for the college when they go for college interviews. Okay, does anybody got a past slide 28? Okay, it's recorded. So what I will do, I will upload this PowerPoint on Teams, so you can have an access to same time to the PowerPoint as well. And thank you very much, everyone. And any question you can ask, and then I will see your children tomorrow for the assembly from Our Futures and intranet, and anything, any help, let us know. Okay, thank you very much.